This week in lab, you guys are going to be looking at osmosis and diffusion. This particular part of the lab, part 2, is where you're going to be looking at the different rates of diffusion of NaCl coming out of a dialysis tube. So the first thing that you need to do is to measure out your tube, which is right here. Your lab manual says about 10 centimeters. If you're over 10 centimeters, that's great. 11 to 12 is perfect because you're actually going to want to fold them over once your solution's inside. So if it's a little over, that's okay. To prep the dialysis tube, you will take one side of the tube and you will fold it once and then twice, like an accordion. And then you will put the clip on one end, encasing that in. Okay, you are going to open up the other side, like so. Put in your 7 milliliters of solution. There's 3. There's 6. What I should add here is that you want to make sure that you have soaked your dialysis tube in a beaker of water for about 5 minutes so that you're able to open it. Also, the graduated pipettes that you're going to be using today are, or at least this week, are 3 milliliters. And so you don't have to actually measure out the full 7. You could do 3, 3, and 1. And there is 7. Once you are done with that, you are then going to fold it the same way and try to get the air bubble out so that it's air bubble free. Fold it over once, fold it over twice, and clip. Okay, next we're going to look at what to do with the bag once you're all finished. When you're all done, this is what it should look like. You are then going to rinse off any solution that may have spilled on the outside. You are then going to weigh your bags and then put them in the proper setup. When you come into lab, everything is not going to be set up, so you're going to be responsible for setting everything up. Everything should look like this when you're all done. So you should get your conductivity probe. Make sure that that's in your larger beaker, so your 400 ml beaker. And you're going to fill it up almost all the way. Make sure that whatever height you fill it up, it is consistent between each one. So right now we're at 275 milliliters. Another important thing to remember is that every time you do a run, or every time you have a new solution in your bag, you're going to want to empty out this water and refill it. If you use the same water, the amount of salt that is in the water that diffuses out of the bag is going to increase, and it's going to mess up your numbers. Also, another thing to note is that you're going to have your speed on about 3 to 4. It really depends on which hot plate stirrer you're using. Make sure that the heat is turned off. So this one here is your heat. This one here is stir. It will say stir. This one is off. Alright, so let's take a look at your next video. This again is your setup. This is how everything should look. This is the setup of your lab. This is what your station should look like when you are ready to start your experiment. You already have the baggie, which I showed you guys how to make up in the previous video. Once this is all set up, you will raise up your probe, put in your bag, and press play. And I will do all that right now. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our setup. So let's zoom out here and go to our setup. And you're going to want to make sure that you have a duration of 60 seconds at 0.2 samples per second. Okay, once you've actually done a run, you are then going to calculate the slope. When you want to analyze your graph to figure out the rate, you're going to click on Analyze, Curve Fit, Conductivity, choose Linear, and there you go. That's what you get. Alright, and so what we're looking at here is our slope, which is this number right here. Alright, so that is the rest of the lab that you guys are going to be doing. Let me reset again. If you have any questions on about how to set up any part of your lab, just feel free to email your professor or email me.